Alright, back with another banger. Currently, it is just past 11:30. Just trolling around on my bike this time. Big and Minnie get a rest tonight, I suppose. Riding my bike earlier, came downtown. Everyone's asleep now, so I figure I can, cruise around. Not too many people are going to see me riding around now, talking to myself, so that's a good thing. If anyone asks, I'll just tell them I'm talking to someone on the phone, I guess. But nobody cares, so, yeah. Just keeping it real. Had a bit of a strange night tonight. I don't really want to say it was a rough night, but it was a night. So, just kind of chilling, finishing things off, keeping it real. Since I'm here, before I go into the neighborhoods here, I can have a tour of my bike here. But, proper bike, not one of those motorized ones. Got the water bottle here, got the basket, it's removable, I could take it off if I want. High-tech bike light here, air freshener, this here. Yeah, that concludes the tour of the silver zipper here. That's what I'll call the bike. Also the name of a character in a book I'm writing. But yep. Downtown. Probably end up going back through here. Well, I'll just chill around downtown anyway. I don't give a fuck. One of the long ones. Disorganized long videos, I guess. I'm chilling around talking about whatever I feel like. Somebody said they liked those, and so yeah, that's what I'll do. There's downtown. Originally I didn't want to go down here and show myself out and potentially out myself, dox myself, but I mean, I don't think it really matters at this point. If anybody is that determined to figure out where I live, then they're gonna figure it out regardless. I mean, they had that thing where some celebrity put a flag out in the middle of the desert somewhere, and a bunch of people on 4chan used like plane routes and star signs to track it down, triangulate it and shit. So I mean, if people can do that, then people figure out where I live. But be honest, nobody really cares, so I don't live downtown anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, there's downtown. Normally busier, but it's like 11:40 p.m. so it's actually a lot nicer downtown. There's the rest of it over there. Looks nice. Looks good. Actually nice and peaceful when there's, nobody out. But I guess that could be said about basically everything. So, yep. I don't normally come down here actually that often, so I don't fully know. The bakery is pretty good. Yeah, I don't really come down here that often, so I don't get out that much, so that used to be a 7-Eleven, back when 7-Eleven was a thing. That was a place. That right there, try to keep things steady here. Nobody has a seizure when they're watching that. We wouldn't want that. Yeah, that place used to be a museum, natural history museum when I was a kid. And then the great 2020 extinction event happened, if you know what I'm talking about, the quarantine. And that shut the museum down, and now it's a saloon, and it has gambling in it, video gaming and shit like that. And I don't like video gaming. Like, I don't mean to be there's a theater too. Not really relevant to, guess they're making a new Superman movie. First time hearing of it, but anyway, this place here, actually, getting off topic, but the guy who, that restaurant there, it used to be a food truck actually, and it was a place that I went to every now and then, and it was run by a Mexican guy. It's Mexican food, but it's like actual proper Mexican food, like authentic stuff you'd get in Mexico. So pretty good. I liked it. It's alright. They had actual tacos there too, but you know, real tacos that are made the way they're supposed to be, not Taco Bell tacos and the cheap shit. But anyway, I was talking about that place. Used to be a museum. Then the museum shut down for a couple of years, and now it's a saloon, and they got video gambling in there. And those video gambling places are popping up all over the place, like smallpox, which I am not a big fan of gambling. Like, it's one thing if you're like playing poker with some people or something like that, and you're betting some money on that, because you know everyone's on an even footing there. But you're going to those places like the saloons and shit, and you do the video gaming where you're just tapping away on a screen pretty much, and yeah, that's completely rigged to get you as much money as possible out of you. And yeah, I mean, granted, casinos have always been kind of like that, but I don't know how you would play against a machine like a computer and think that it's not rigged somehow. So yeah. And if you're ever questioning on whether or not gambling addiction is a real thing, it is a real thing, and you can find proof of that. You can look up a guy called Boss Man Jack on YouTube. Watch his compilations. He does gambling, but it's like on a computer, so his home computer. Just goes onto some website, does it, and I've seen the compilations, and that guy will win like $30,000 and then blow it all in the span of like not even 5 minutes. It's insanity. And he'll have like a mental breakdown and be begging people for donations so he can just blow that. So yeah, gambling addictions are definitely a real thing, and yeah, I don't know how people could expect to go to a casino and not lose money. Like, my mother was saying we should go to Vegas and I could spend some money on the casinos there. Like, she's not a gambling addict or anything, but like saying, well, hold on a second, you go to like Vegas and you could gamble on some machines there. And I was like, well, I might as well just set my money on fire, and at least I'd be doing society a favor by lowering the inflation a tiny bit. So that's my stance on casinos and things. Well, I'm gonna scoot over to the road here. See, I can go into the roads now in downtown because fucking nobody's out. So that's good. But, yeah. Minimize the background sound here. Yeah. I go out on my bike pretty much every day, or all night, I guess. And normally I listen to music, was doing that earlier tonight. Pretty much the only person in my family who rides bikes. I mean, back in the day when I was like a young teenager, my parents, well, it was my mother and stepdad, they got bikes for everybody, so my brother, and those two all got bikes, and the one that I got is this one that I'm currently on. I've had this one for like 15 years, maybe not that long, but a long ass time. It's a good bike. I like it. I've maintained it. It's in good condition, clearly, as you can tell. But the other three bikes, they never ride bikes. So, like, last year, I was going on my bike ride. My younger brother, he wanted to go on the bike ride too. So, he got his old bike out of the basement. And it didn't work. The rims were warped because it was just sitting down there for years. So he ended up going through the other two bikes, my parents' bikes. And neither one of those worked either because the same reason. I think he got my mother's bike to work, but it was kind of, sticky, I guess. Like it wouldn't turn very fluidly. It hadn't been maintained at all, but yeah. So, and then I think that was probably the last time he ever went on a bike ride anyway, but, so, I like riding my bike. I mean, I like being physically active anyway, but yeah. There's a church there. Catholic, I think. So, there's something. Well, yeah, it looks nice. This is I don't know what this is exactly, but it looks nice. I like that. I got a pond there. I don't know, is that the Virgin Mary, maybe? I'm not completely up to date on my Christianity lore. But I don't know, that looks nice. That's good. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. But yeah, I stay physically active, keep on the bike ride, been doing my morning exercises and all that. I don't want to say I got a 6-pack of abs, but I got a starter pack. So that's something. Proper bike, by the way, not the weird shit. Like you'll see people on there and they're riding bicycles, but they've got motors on them. So they're just like zooming around on these motorized bikes, and it's like, well, fuck's even the point of that? Like, at that point, you might as well just get a moped, I guess. But, or those, like, dumbass, like, 2-wheel things, like, they look like a Segway, which is already a pretty stupid fucking way to get around on Segway. But then they're like those, but they don't have the handlebars. I don't know what they're called. They're really dumb. It's like a sideways skateboard with a motor in it. You don't hardly see too many people on actual proper bicycles or skateboards anymore. A little depressing, but I mean, less people for me to watch out for, I guess. But yeah, less people for me to watch out for at fucking midnight. But yeah, kind of the whole reason I actually come out here this late is so I don't have to deal with all the people. Well, there's a place That's the place I used to work at, is where I was walking the dog earlier. Garden place there. I'm getting some good speed now. Actually, since I'm over in this part of town, I can cruise through the old neighborhood where I used to live. That'd be kind of neat. Here we go. Just fix my shirt sleeve there. Yeah, this is a nice town when everyone's asleep. When everyone's awake and, you know, it's all noisy and you can't get any peace and quiet, and it's kind of irritating, but yeah. It's the reason I go out at night. It's the reason I work second shift. Somebody's having a cookout. And smell the fire there. Should have a cookout. I haven't done that this year. Been preoccupied with a bunch of other shit that I've been doing. But yeah. And I think somebody forgot to put a muffler on their pickup. Or they just don't put it on there on purpose. I guess some people think it sounds like badass, but yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Here's the moon. Can't really tell. It's not a full moon though. It's like 99% full. Here's a cemetery. Fun fact, I used to walk home from high school and would pass through the cemetery. Not because I'm an edgelord, just because that was on the way home from school. Not gonna go in there. Not because I'm creeped out or anything, I just don't wanna be going in there and talking. It seems a little disrespectful at night. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. Sometimes when I go on bike rides around here, if I go over here and I'm not, you know, talking to myself. Oh, there's a bun. When I'm not talking to myself, I'll go through the graveyard. They actually have a veteran from the Revolutionary War buried there, funnily enough. He was in the Navy, I think, the Continental Navy or something like that. I don't remember the whole story, but basically, if I recall, that wasn't his original burial place. I think they moved him here, and I don't know why, but yeah, so that's a neat bit of lore there. Well, they would have had to have moved him here because the state of Illinois didn't exist until like 50 years after the revolution ended. So that would, I guess he could have still been alive by that point. He would have been like, I don't know, 70 or so. I don't know. But yeah, where the fuck am I? Oh, I know where I'm at. Got my bearings. Unfortunately, this is a dead end, so I'm gonna have to kind of curveball my way over that way. Maybe. Been a while since I've been through this part of town, but let me just get my bearings straight. Yeah, I can go this way. Alright. Get my bearings straight here. It's been a while since I've been through this part of town, so yeah. I hope this isn't a dead end either. I get the feeling it might be. Oh, somebody threw out a whole ass couch. But it is. Alright. I guess I could cut through there, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, shit. Okay. I done goofed. I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. I know where I'm going. I didn't just get lost in my own hometown. I'm making a whole racket here. But yep. There's a creek right there. Well, a seasonal creek. It's a creek when it rains. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this way and go back around, because that doesn't go anywhere. Maybe it does. I think they built a park there. Or I'm just gonna screw myself over again and have to cut through the grass. I know there's a park over here. I don't remember if they extended the bike path over to the other road up there. That road up there is where I need to get to. But I used to pass this route on the way home from school. Those are all new. Those buildings, those didn't used to be there. And it looks like the park isn't here either. No, it's over there. Well, they have changed it. These apartments didn't used to be there back when I was but a wee lad, which was almost a decade ago now since I last walked home from high school, so making me feel old now. It'll be, I graduated in 2016. Oh, there's a bun. There goes one. Graduated in 2016, so next year it'll be a decade. And I'm sure as shit not going to a 10-year, whatever they call it, reunion. Yeah, fuck that. I, got better stuff to do with my life, and I'll be honest, I forgot most of the people I went to high school with anyway, so no big loss there. And the people I do remember, I'm still in contact with, which is pretty much all of one person. Well, two people, I guess, technically. But, yeah. Oh, there is a path that goes through here. There didn't used to be, but I think they started building one the last time I came through here. There we go. Over there, that complex of lights is a elementary school that I went to kindergarten there, and about a month, funnily enough, about a month ago, I actually ran into my kindergarten teacher on a bike ride. Not at nighttime, I was out during the day for once. He recognized me. I didn't recognize him, probably on account of I was like 4 at the time. But, yeah, it was a good teacher for the time. But I only went to kindergarten there, and then I got banished to a different school for some reason. There's a FedEx building there, but that's not the one I worked at. I worked at one that was way the fuck out in Rockford. So, yeah, that's, funnily enough, one time when I was really young, I decided to go on a bike ride and wanted to go back to that elementary school. Not go back to it, but I wanted to just go over there and see what it looked like. And this was when I was like, I don't know, 14 maybe. So I came down this way, and I thought that this building here, this warehouse, which admittedly it's a cool ass looking warehouse, I gotta be honest. Most of the time they're just concrete blocks, but I came through here and I thought that warehouse was the elementary school, and I was like, hot damn, they really improved that place. Slightly disappointed to find out that it wasn't, but yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna transfer myself onto the road here, because technically you're not supposed to ride your bike on the sidewalk, but yeah, this is the way I used to walk home from high school, which on that sidewalk. We'll walk to and from high school, I guess, but those were the days, not the good days, they were just the days. But that's where I was taking Minnie the other night, week or so ago. This is leading into the other neighborhood, but I remember back in the day we used to have Nerf gun wars. All the bunch of neighborhood kids get together, get all the Nerf guns that we compiled together from like Target, get them on Christmas and shit, and pile them all together and have Nerf gun wars. Not really any rules to them. I know people used to have rules where like if you got hit in the arm or something and it would disable your arm. We didn't do that. It was just a free-for-all, so people were just, shooting darts and shit at each other. So, also good. And it helped. It was during the recession, so most of the houses were empty, so you could go into empty backyards and shit. I mean, you're not supposed to, but, nobody gave a fuck, so. Yeah, 'tis not the case these days. Down here, walk down this way. I think it's been like 9 years since I've had to walk home from high school, so I don't remember the exact route, but this is probably it. It's probably more impressive if you could actually see any of it, but it's just a neighborhood, so it kind of doesn't really matter all that much. There's a neighborhood. I had another teacher who lived over down that street. That's not really relevant to anything except for the fact that he kind of looked like Steven Anderson, the hate preacher from Arizona. Steven Pisseth on the Wall Anderson. That delightful individual. Except for this teacher wasn't, homophobic bigot. So, I guess that's something like that. There we go, we're in the old neighborhood now. All the nostalgia. I'm not gonna, stalk my old house, because that'd be weird and there's people living in it, but I'll go past it. Yep. Oh, shit. Yep. This is the way I went. Elementary school. There it is. Can't see it because it's dark out, but that's the house I grew up in, and it's since changed quite a bit. But, yeah. Whole neighborhood. Can't hardly fucking see it because it's nighttime, but it's probably for the best. I don't want to look like a creep or anything. Which, any more than I already do, but bringing back the nostalgia here. Having Nerf gun wars. Used to ride bikes. He had those foam Nerf swords and shit. And we would ride around on bikes like cavalry and swipe at each other. Make spears by filling one sock with a bunch of other socks and tying it to the end of a stick to use the spear. That street, I knew the people that lived in a bunch of the houses over there. That's kind of a neat. Also, it hasn't changed all that much actually, but granted, maybe I come back here in 20 years and see how much changed. Might be, who knows, this empty lot here. There used to be a tiny little house in that lot, and it was a kit house, so it was one of those you order from a magazine and they ship you the whole thing. They don't ship a full house, but they ship the supplies and you have to like build it like a Lego set. And it was sitting there for a while, and I vaguely remember somebody lived there and they moved out when I was young, like really young. It must have been like 4 or 5 years old, and it was abandoned for a good decade until they tore it down. And then me and a bunch of other kids around the neighborhood built up a wooden teepee in there with a bunch of sticks and shit, and only big enough to fit one person in it, but it was like an outpost, Nerf gun wars. So yeah, history there. I surprised they haven't put anything in that empty lot, but that's a bit of a poorer neighborhood, so they, probably don't give a shit. This part we're going into now is new. This whole place, basically, from this point on, all these houses, which you could tell, I'm sure, all new. Fun fact, this entire subdivision here is new. Like, really new. I'm talking like the last 4 years, maybe. It's built up, which, hold on a second. It was, they tore up the cornfield that was here when I was a kid. They flattened everything out, dug out all the retention ponds, piled up a bunch of dirt in a hill over that way somewhere, and started building some houses. And then the housing market crashed in 2008, and they just completely abandoned the whole thing. I think the developers went out of business or something like that. See, they still haven't finished all of it, I guess, but so this entire place was just empty fields. Like, these roads were here, and there was the retention ponds were here, and some dirt hills, but everything else was just open fields pretty much. It was really abandoned though. Like, there were half-built houses, like shells, and there were like, I remember there were excavators and bulldozers that were just sitting there for years on end. Not active. They didn't have keys in them. We tried. We really did. But yeah, and it wasn't until like 4 or 5 years ago that they started rebuilding this. So honestly, I preferred it as a field, but the retention ponds were the nastiest goddamn things you ever saw. Like, nobody took care of them, so they were just full of algae and shit. One of them, somebody threw a whole ass oven, like a conventional gas oven, into one of them for some reason, which I never figured out. Like, you can just put that on the street corner and they'll pick it up. I think you might have to call somebody or something to get them picked up, but a lot more effort to throw it in a pond than it is to just move it to your street corner. Maybe some teenagers found it and thought they were being funny. Yeah, so they're still building it up here. Gotta try to find the dirt hill. I'm certain is still here. I can't tell. There used to be a giant ass dirt hill out here. A couple of hills, but the huge one, and it used to be a rite of passage in the neighborhood to climb that thing and get to the top and dominate it. And me and my brother made like a paper flag, and we quote laminated it by putting that like clear duct tape on it, stuck it up there, and here, pretend I'm watching something on my phone so I don't look like a weirdo. But yeah, there, pretend I'm watching something on my phone so I don't look like a creep. But And yes, I'm riding my bike barefooted. But, well, damn, I think they got rid of that hill. I think it used to be here. Wow, that's actually... Yeah, this is where it used to be. Unless I'm off my center here, yeah. The whole thing used to be here. It was like huge too. It was bigger than the houses. It must have been like 4 stories tall, the thing. Yeah. Used to be a rite of passage for all the neighborhood kids to climb that thing. Some of them would ride bikes down it. One little dickhead decided to ride a sled down it. Shattered the sled and one of his bones. His arm or his shin, I think. Good times, good times. Go around this way. Yeah, there were some other hills too. There was a rock hill, a couple other ones. Yeah, that's like a part of my childhood that's gone now. Tell my brother, he's gonna be probably shit bricks about that too. But yeah, I probably used it for the houses or just got rid of it or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, last year I came out here, the hill was still there, but there was a giant chunk taken out of the side of it. Looked like Mount St. Helens. Which I've been to Mount St. Helens, actually. Unfortunately, when we went there and saw the mountain, it was cloudy, so you, couldn't really see the mountain. But we did see mountain goats, so that made it worth it. Yeah. Honestly, I like the way it used to look before they built it up. Now it's just another subdivision. Not sure if you can tell it's dark out, but it basically looks the same as the neighborhood I'm living in now. I mean, probably same developers too, I bet. Like, it's all the same. There's a part of town here, which I refer to as the Twilight Zone. It's just the same exact house. It's like I think you call it a townhome, where it's a bunch of houses, but they're like combined for an entire block. And the people in these houses? No, that's just sprinkler. Anyway, but they got townhouses and they just look identical. And I don't mean they look the same. I mean it's just the same house duplicated for like it'll be a quarter of a mile. Just the exact same thing. It looks like some shit out of the Twilight Zone when you go through there. Like, yeah, hence the name. But yeah, profoundly lazy. Not like it's a new concept, you know, back in the... Probably started back in the 50s, I think, when they started just taking cheap houses and duplicating them over and over again. Like, the neighborhood where I grew up, the houses are all made in, like, the pre-World War II era. And the other town where my dad lives, that house, all those houses are even older. In fact, the house he lives in used to be a farmhouse before the rest of the town was there. The house isn't that old, but the basement and the house foundation is like ancient. Gotta be at least 200 years old. It's like rocks and mortar down there. It's ancient. Went around there with a metal detector last year and was digging up parts of fencing and shit. I think. Hard to tell. Just corroded metal pieces, basically. But, my elementary school was back that way that I went to, the one I got banished to. I'm gonna go that way. I'm not gonna go to this school, because, you know, a guy on his 27-year-old on his bike, riding around with a phone near an elementary school at night is not the greatest look. So I'm gonna just just not gonna go over there. But somewhere around here is the road that connects me back to the old neighborhood. And I can't tell because they got all these fucking houses in the way now. So, yeah, these were, I shit you not, I came out here like this spring, rode my bike out here. No, it must have been last fall. None of these houses were there, like I shit you not. It was like not even a year old, most of these. But, disorientated. Well, goddamn, I'm like 40 minutes into this. I try to angle my way back towards downtown. Like a 40 if anybody makes it this far, I don't know, bonus points, I guess. If you get this far listening to my nonsense. I don't know. Maybe some lonely soul out there is listening to this while they're doing some shit, office work or something. I don't fucking know what people do. I make comics and watch stuff. Yeah. I don't even know if people are living in these houses. They look empty. The ones with the lights on. With all of this shit. Where the fuck even am I? Yeah, I think if I go this way, it'll get me back into the other neighborhoods. Or not. I might just be eternally lost in the suburbs. I accidentally fell through a wormhole and landed in a planet that's just nothing but suburbs. Nothing but cheap houses, endless lawns, and world ruled by the HOA. Could be worse. I don't know, I could end up in fucking Wisconsin. Am I even in the same? This doesn't even look like the same town anymore. God damn. I know roughly where I'm at. I'll triangulate my location. I'll just keep going this way until I get back downtown. I think it's this way. That looks like my grandparents' house almost. Except it's not, because their house is built in the 60s and it was way the ass other end of the town. Well, this is just downright eerie now. Yeah. And give it another 100 years and this will all be Chicago high-rises. I think I know where I'm at now. I think we're getting into the older houses this way. I hope. Oh yeah, there it is. There's a creek right there. I think. Yep. I know where I'm at now. This is a little older of a neighborhood. I know where I'm at. I figured it out. My master navigational skills. Yep. Yeah, I remember we used to go here and have some Nerf gun wars in the streets too. Duking out like real men. That house has a sign on it, but I'm not going over there and I'm not reading it, so. Check my phone battery. No, 54%. Sounds like 85% when I started this. Started this now. Got a steep incline here. Really, getting those leg muscles in tonight. There we go. Behind this row of houses is the elementary school that I used to go to school at. It's basically the same as the other one, but on this side of town, so I don't know why it got transferred over. I don't know what the big deal was there, but yeah. Not gonna go over there though. But yeah. Yeah, I do remember. It used to be. There's a fence somewhere around here. I think I passed it already. It's a road. And it's just a brief road. Those brief road. It just goes right over to the what you call it? The back of the court. There's like a courtyard behind the elementary school. They go for recess there. And me and my brother and a couple other people, when we went to school there, would try to sneak out by going across the courtyard and trying to get out. Try to sneak over the fence and escape. And I actually wrote a short story, well, back in the day when I was like 10. Wrote a short story about we escaped and had to have like a video game style boss fight. It was a comic, it wasn't a story. It was a comic I drew in a notebook. And I know I have it somewhere still. But got really fucking weird though. We escaped and we had to talk to the principal, and he told us we had to find this other thing, and I don't remember what the plot was, but we ended up having to like, we got attacked by a guy in a van, and not like a creepy weirdo in a van. Huh. Well, I'm fucking nowhere near where I thought I was. I thought I was like way over that way. And that road goes out of town. I don't know how the fuck I ended up over here. That's I'll go over there real quick, but anyway, yeah, in that comic, we got attacked by a guy in a van, but it wasn't like a creep in a van, it was like, kind of like that scene from North by Northwest, Alfred Hitchcock movie where the plane comes down at the guy. In the cornfield, it was kind of like that. And we went to Chicago and fought a helicopter on top of the Sears Tower. And I know it's not called the Sears Tower anymore, but I'm still gonna call it that because, fuck them. Fucking Willis didn't build the tower. I don't care what they say. Anyway, the National Guard building here looks kinda neat. Yeah. They got a big ass, artillery thing. Yeah, I don't know. That road goes out of town. It's a cafe we go to for lunch sometimes. There's a park over there, some other shit. I don't feel like going all the way down there though. This thing's already almost 50 minutes long. I'm gonna hit the hour mark. I don't even think I was at the Trump protest for this long back in April or whenever that was. Yes. But yeah, that comic I made is me and my brother, and we had to, like, I don't even remember what the plot was. I gotta find it though. That was actually a kind of a neat thing I made. Not well drawn, I was like 10 or 12 at the time, but went from escaping school to fighting helicopters and shit on top of the Sears Tower. And I think I actually made like a, what do you call it? It's like, oh, butts. A thing, it was like a script for a video game that I was gonna adapt it into a video game. Uh, Obviously that didn't come to fruition because I was like a preteen at the time. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a neat little story there. Granted, that's not where I don't know how it ended up way the fuck over there. That new neighborhood, it really threw me off. So, it's new. That whole place is new. So, that's why. Unrecognizable now. But, yep. I just get up this hill, there's a bun. There's a... Well, we're not done yet. Hold on. Hold up. There we go. Across the street here. That's a place. Gas station. Yeah, that's a place. That's what it is. That is definitely what that is. Yeah. Hold up. This is a parking lot. And not a well-kept parking lot, but fun fact, I used to work at that dollar store for like 4 months. This whole building here, well, the white part of the building, that brick part used to be a bank, I think, and it might still be, but it doesn't have a sign in front. But the rest of that building used to be a supermarket, and back in the day, it was the first one. Me and my brother would walk from our house to this supermarket, and that was the first time I ever went shopping by myself, kind of by myself. This place opens in the summertime, but I don't even know if it's still open now. Just sells slushes, kind of neat. It used to be a whole ass suit, like a Walmart style supermarket. The parking lot would always be full. They used to have whole, like, what do you call them? Shopping cart corrals out here. And then it closed down back in 2014, I want to say, sometime close to there. And it was the whole place, this whole building was completely abandoned for almost 8 years or so before they started building, I guess, a self-storage and a laundromat and a dollar store. And even with all that there, parking lot's almost never full. Like, there's like 6 people maybe there. So, it's a little depressing. That supermarket had homemade sauce, spaghetti sauce. They make spaghetti sauce, and it was pretty good. It was a family-owned thing. And now they don't. So, yep. I'm gonna go through a back alley like a weirdo and try to hit the hour mark here. I got 7 minutes left. Oh, butts. Oh, my tuchus. Right. Thank the gods that all my bike riding is giving me buns of steel. Yeah. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't say that. That sounded better in my head. There's a gas station. It's not open now, but sometimes on my bike rides, if I'm bike riding out here and it's still open, I'll stop in there and grab like some fruit gummies or soda or something. That almost freaked the fuck out of me right there, playing commercials on the gas pumps while it's closed. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I thought someone was about to yell at me for being out there at night. Yep, back into downtown, back down here, chilling in town, keeping it real. That place there has gone, like, almost every year it changes hands, so it goes to different business every year. When I was younger, it used to be a frozen yogurt place, and it was like a breakfast place that served eggs and a bunch of other shit. They got a food truck. But yeah, nobody lasts in that location. Yeah. Commercial lot for sale. There used to be something there, and they tore it down, and then they never built it up again, so. Yep. Yeah. Library. This one's a classic. Used to come here, used to take field trips here in school. Kinda neat. Then in high school we'd do our homework here. This giant ass antenna, police antenna here. That's a jail on the other side there, but yep. Always fascinated by this antenna. Not so much the size of it, just the fact that it's, you know, it sends signals out into space. For some reason I always thought it was the coolest thing, that a signal is going from this tower up into orbit, bouncing off a satellite, and then going back down into wherever it goes. I mean, it's still kind of a neat concept, but yeah. That's the, I think that's the tallest thing in town. Either that or the water tower. Pretty sure it's gonna be that one. There's a cactus. Yeah, looks like he's had better days. Anyway. 3 minutes left. I want to hit the hour mark here. But let's fucking go around and chill. This is a nice courthouse. This is a nice post office. Excellent commentary here. Back into downtown. Yeah. Again, I didn't originally want to show off downtown in case, you know, somebody recognizes it, and, you know, it'd be like, getting doxxed or something like that, but, just shit. But, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get doxxed, though. I don't think anyone gives a shit, and even if they did, like, big whoop, like, I'm not a controversial person. Don't say anything controversial, unless you want to count my dislike of Trump as controversial, which it really shouldn't be, but, you know, it's the world we're living in. Yeah. Going back downtown. Going downtown. That's where my bike gets fixed at. Had to get new brake lines installed last year. That set me back about $80, I want to say. Go this way. Got this building. They're trying so hard to be like the Chicago stock market. So hard. But actually, yeah, this is a bank. Not my bank, but there's a whatever that is. Yeah, and we've returned almost back to where we started from. Yeah. DNA Holistic Center. Whatever that means. Yeah, so we're back where we started. Ow. Fuck my fucking butt. Well, there we go. We've reached the hour mark. That concludes my epic saga for tonight. If anyone's made it this far, I don't know. Good for you. Have a swell prize. Make sure you, I don't know, make sure you subscribe. Or don't. I don't care. Here, have one of these.